Can I be really honest?
Yes, you can.
Oh, I saw this and went, is he on the jolly here? Like, has he had 10 beers?
I reckon I probably did for some of them.
We've seen the meteoric rise of TikTok. It's an amazing platform. You lot have broken it. You've broken TikTok. The UK getting rid of it now because of you lot. Totally gone.
Can I be honest? I've never seen that one.
It's utter nonsense.
I think that's valid.
I wouldn't go, these are the guys to get me a job. They're also not the person to get me a candidate.
Yeah.
What's it there for? Ben Goodwin,
Yes.
welcome to In the Comments.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for applying.
It was, I was saying earlier, it was perfect timing. I've only just really took over the socials, and I've had you on LinkedIn for about 6 months, and I thought, all of a sudden the stars align, and it's perfect time. And we were having a discussion before that we need to start doing more with social media. So the TikTok's pretty much brand new. The Facebook needs a little bit of work. The LinkedIn I'm starting to change, which is where we do most of it. It's recruitment. It's where a lot of the clients are, But we need to have more of an outreach for, I suppose, younger generations as well, which we don't really have. A lot of agencies don't. And that's more to the fact that it's not really been a focus. We're just coming into our second full year now. And we've got a really good baseline of clients and candidates and things like that. And social media kind of fell between the wayside. But I think 2025 is going to be massive for social media, AI and all of that. And you need to kind of be ahead of it. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind the wayside, and ultimately affect that bottom line, which is turnover. Yeah.
Well, that's actually, you sort of answered the question which was asked, which is, who are you?
Yep.
What do you do and why you're here? Going back onto the one that in the middle, which is, so are you? So obviously, Gemini people, is that? Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say recruitment. It's not. I keep correcting myself there. So Gemini people, what do you do?
So it is recruitment. That's the brunt of it. So a lot of what we do is warehouse and industrial and logistics, things like that. So that's anyone going in at DPD as an example, Amazon. But then we've branched out into salespeople, healthcare, It's quite a small company that we've got at the minute. I say small, we do a decent turnover, but there's not that many people. So we can kind of be here, there and everywhere in terms of it. But it's also creating the content that puts it in that direction, January, February, March is dead. It is for everybody in the in the industry, unfortunately. But we tail off. I mean, December was manic. I think I had one day off and it was Christmas. But it's building up those quiet times. So when we get to the end of that financial year, every April, we're not dreading what's January, February, March looking like, Okay. But yeah, that's what we do. We're specialists in recruitment. We've got 30 years odd experience between us. I've been in recruitment about 5 years now. The managing director's been in it about 25. We've got a couple of people in the office as well, and that's literally it. We find the right people for the right jobs, I suppose. So
recruitment's got a negative halo over it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's putting it slightly less colourful than a lot of people would, I suppose. Yeah,
I've used recruitment firm for years. So one of my old businesses, MIB, we used to have a big call centre here in Leamington, and we won a Vodafone contract 12 years ago, and it was just we needed people in and out the door like it was madness.
Yeah.
And it was a hard job.
Yeah.
So I dealt with all the recruitment firms within Leamington. I even had to go to Coventry in the end to try and find stuff. Like it was that manic. So I've had experiences with recruitment, and I think the hardest thing with recruitment, and please interject at any point, is your product is people.
Yep.
And we know that people are always an issue.
Yeah.
Typically, the biggest issue when it comes to growing businesses is people.
You're bang on. I mean, look, if the product I'm selling it's volatile. It can lie to you. If I was selling an iPad can't lie to you, can it? And I can do all the things in the world to go, yeah, he'll be in. I can ring him 3 times. And, I'm on my way. And then all of a sudden he's had a car crash on the way. And then some of the stories I've heard probably aren't. I can tell you in private, I'll put it that way. But yeah.
We used to have it all the time. Like we used to be sent, these 4 on their way.
Yep.
The amount of people whose nans have passed away is incredible. Like, honestly, it's
I'm pretty sure that every single worker that I've got has about 5 nans. I'll put it that way. If it's especially on a Monday morning, a lot of nans pass away on a Monday morning, I've found.
yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's weird because they're texting you at like 3 a.m,
Yeah.
which is odd. So, which is strange, isn't it? So yeah, the product you're selling is tricky, and obviously you're not. You know, it's nothing. It's not your fault. It's just the nature of the beast. And again, like you said, it's volatile, and there's only so much you can do. I think bring it back onto social. So, in terms of the size of your business, I think the best businesses are the ones that are smaller. Like both my agencies were lean, and we were very, very profitable. You know, in terms of social media, you know, our net profits were probably 4 times what the industry standard is, because we were lean. So having a small team isn't a bad thing at all. I think, if anything, too many firms focus on headcount as a currency. And I think it's a vanity metric that most businesses need just to sack off completely and go, how much you're making? Because the reality is that's what makes the world turn, not how many people you've got in your office.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that's recruitment in a nutshell. It sounds like you've been there in the past, to be fair. It's a lot of agencies justify going, oh, they're a really good agency if they've got a headcount of 12. But in actual fact, their profit margin is the same as ours. As an example, you know, it's all big vanity, and the turnover goes up. And again, the way I see it, turnover is a vanity project as well. It's very much, look how much we turn over, but how much of that is profit? And that's where it's at. That's the bottom line, you know.
Yeah. You can churn cash in many industries, and it's pointless. You know, you're just churning cash. So you're like, well, we come to the end of the financial year and go, that was absolutely pointless. So no, that's not a bad thing at all. I think that actually having that mindset is really good.
Yeah,
I think coming back onto the social side, so obviously you filled in an application form, which again you were very candid on, which is great. I think the one thing that is interesting, so you've got a TikTok account, you've got LinkedIn.
Yep.
You put on there, sort of LinkedIn is your preferred social media platform, which I agree with. My question is, why do you think that?
I think that's the one that I'm the most comfortable on, to be honest. You probably see my personal profile as well. I try and post once, twice a week with a brand that I've tried to build for myself, I suppose, is the way to do it. You know, it is that very candid. You'll probably see my tagline is taking the BS out of recruitment, you know, and it's one of those things. And I think LinkedIn, that's where our target audience is, especially for the new clients, you know, not necessarily the candidates, but it's very much... It's a platform that's starting to change a little bit, I think, LinkedIn as well. I do think it's starting to be a little bit more candid in terms of, it's not quite Meta and Facebook and Instagram candid, but it's not how it was 5 years ago, where if you put a personal post on LinkedIn, everybody was having a go at you, you know, how dare you, this isn't Facebook. And I think for me that's quite important. So just because I'm comfortable, I know the content that will work on LinkedIn a lot more than I will on an Instagram or TikTok and stuff like that. I mean, TikTok wasn't my idea. It was the branch administrator, maybe because she's younger than me as well. It might be one of them. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm comfortable. Whereas I have this thing with TikTok and your Instagram and stuff that I want to create content that's good, but I don't want it to be cringe. And that's the most important to me, you know.
Well, we'll go into that because I've seen your TikTok, and we'll go into that, which is interesting because the administrators, that's gonna be interesting. I agree with you in terms of your ICP. Forget the candidate side, and I think when I looked at all your socials, whether it be TikTok or LinkedIn, more on the company page, is I saw a mixture of reaching out, messaging to candidates, but also messaging to your clientele. Yeah, and I think that's where you need to look at your messaging. Okay. And especially because if you're putting a candidate post on LinkedIn, and then this is no disrespect to the candidate, if you're recruiting for a £7.50 an hour role in a warehouse, they're not going to be on LinkedIn. Yeah. In my opinion, based on the statistics. Agreed. So my question would be, why are we posting that? Yeah. I wouldn't be doing it personally. Yeah. I just would not do it. Now, maybe it's an end of week review of, right, these are all the roles we've got to show that you're active as a brand. Yeah. But in terms of actually trying to reach out to that candidate, even your impressions when we look at, when we looked at it, even on TikTok, we'll go into. So I think when you look at LinkedIn, and you're right, a personal brand on LinkedIn is very powerful. I use LinkedIn for that. It's worked very, very well for me and for the brands and hopefully for Rupert as well, which obviously we're launching and have launched. So no, I think going down the personal branding perspective on LinkedIn is powerful.
Yeah.
When you said on your application, sort of one of your objectives is to get the company page up to a certain amount of followers.
Yeah.
I totally disagree. You need to have those followers.
Okay.
The managing director needs these followers.
Yeah.
Recruitment, again, I've used recruiters.
Yeah.
I can name the recruiters I dealt with. I couldn't name you the businesses.
Okay.
Because I trust that person.
Yeah.
So like Amanda, Samantha, I know the people that I dealt with because I trusted them to go and get me the right candidate.
Yeah.
It could have been any of the firms. I actually went with Sam to 3 different businesses.
Yeah.
Because I trusted her. She knew my business. She knew what I needed. So I think forget growing the company page.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more powerful coming from yourself and the MD.
Yeah, of course.
As opposed to the company page.
Yeah.
And also, when you look at the statistics, you won't get any reach on your company pages. You've probably noticed that.
Yeah.
You just get...
Yeah. The odd one here, the odd one there, yeah.
It's just, whereas you post from your personal, it's game changer.
Yeah.
It's 20 times what you'd get. So I think in terms of your objective, I think you both need to be growing your personal brands, not the company page, because you're going to be put a load of resource and effort and unfortunately money, because time is money, into that. You're going to get to 3,000 and then you go, we've actually got absolute jack all from that. Whereas if you grow I don't know what your follower count is at the moment. Again, if you've got 3,000 people following you and then they're your ideal ICP, for every single impression that sees that content, why that's relevant to them, opposed to one maybe in the company page, it goes to absolutely no one at all.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that's where you need to change that. Now, in terms of platforms, you mentioned like Facebook and Instagram. I think those platforms need to be for candidate recruitment. Not clientele. So when I look at a couple of businesses, so TRC up in Leeds, I know they use their Facebook for, and again, they do similar, a lot of warehousing, a lot of logistics as well for couriers. They'll use their Facebook and Instagram to recruit the candidates. They won't be using those channels to reach out to a DPD,
of course,
head of recruitment or HR. So I think looking at each individual channel for a different ICP is important. So I definitely think, growing the data, and we'll go through LinkedIn in a second actually, because there's a couple of bits I'd like you to just tweak and you're missing, which will help again that recruitment. The growth in that. And then in terms of Facebook and Instagram, I wouldn't also spend a huge amount of time because it's coming from a company account. You're not going to get tons and tons of impressions, which means if depending on how much time the administrator's got, I would set a really basic Canva up and just get them just to change it. It takes 2 seconds post. Opposed to spending loads of time on it. Especially with recruitment, especially when you're a smaller recruitment firm. When a candidate looks on a social channel, all they'll want to see is that you're posting on a certain amount. You've not posted 20 years ago. I call it the lights are on. So I would, again, for those 2 channels, the lights are on. There's jobs going every Friday or twice a week, or whatever it may be, obviously in terms of frequency, but just don't spend loads of time on it because you're not going to get
what
money.
I want out of it.
Exactly. The objective is to get sales and leads or candidates. You're not going to get tons. So, because obviously you're pretty on all the job sites.
Absolutely.
That's where the vast majority are going to come.
Of course.
So what we'll do is, let's look at your LinkedIns, and I want to just give you a little bit of, and again, Michael will type this down as well in terms of things that you could tweak slightly. So if we go to Ben's personal one to start with, Michael, brilliant. So face shot, brilliant. Taking the BS out of recruitment, brilliant. You haven't got a header. You need headers, and those header need to be across. Everyone needs to be the same one in the business. So if you were to pull up my account, Michael, I just want to show Ben an example. Now, those headers are really important because it's the first thing people see. And actually, there's quite a lot of room to get a message out there. So when you look at mine, obviously Rupert is a 24/7 social media assistant. You know what it does. Yours could be, taking the BS out. It could be a bigger version of that.
Of course.
Look at, you could, go and look at some other recruitment firms that are really big on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And get some examples. But again, Canva, you can actually click LinkedIn header and it will create the measuring.
Anyway,
So that's just the one thing you're missing. But make sure that they're all the same across the business. If you can, that would be great. You could also, if you go back to Ben's, Michael, you could also potentially in your font color, you could do a ring round your face, and then everyone in the business could have that potentially, so you can see there's some continuity there.
Yeah.
A little bit extra if you don't need to do it, but the header's massive.
Yeah.
Because again, that's a real big piece of real estate which you're not utilizing.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
In terms of your connections, you've got over 500, which is great. I would just keep growing that.
Yeah.
I would absolutely keep growing that a huge amount.
Yeah.
And we'll go on to actually things like polls that you mentioned earlier. If you scroll down a little bit, Michael, under your experiences, there's no text.
Okay.
There's no text about what you do in the business or the business. So if you go to mine, Michael, scroll down. Thank you. So you'll see here, if you see more, you can see under all of these, there's a bit of text about what the business does or what I do within that business. So again, sales manager. Okay, but what's your role? I help, and all that stuff. So
of course,
that's going to help, especially when people start hitting your profile. It's going to help massively. But I would, apart from that, there's not much more in terms of your profile you can do.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, there's more, you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
In terms of the company page, thank you, Michael. Again, header. Obviously, the logo in there is absolutely fine. We're posting stuff out of here. Again, I wouldn't post.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend loads of time doing it. Keep the lights on.
Yeah.
You're not going to get what you want from it. We're going to use lead gen, LinkedIn for lead generation, which is what you want it for, to produce revenue.
Yeah.
Posting from this page is not going to produce that for you. So I would just be careful of time. I speak to so many brands who they're like, I know we post every day. It's just a waste of money. It's madness.
Yeah. There was one that I saw that was doing an advent calendar.
Okay.
I'll try and find it for you another day.
A recruitment firm?
Yeah, another recruitment firm doing an advent calendar, and it was fun facts about us, and it was one of their picture, and then it was a red font on a white background.
Okay.
In like Gothic.
Okay.
And you were squinting. I'm blind as it is anyway, but yeah. And it's stuff like that I don't want to do. I mean, I get what you mean. I get what you mean, that I get more messages from my posts than I do on the
It's chalk and cheese. When you look at some of yours in comparison to those, again, it's absolute chalk. It's totally chalk and cheese. But this isn't just you. This is the platform.
Yeah.
LinkedIn want to promote personal brands. Yeah. And, you've seen, there's some bigger people in the recruitment market that have got hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
And they've just done it because they've made 2 posts a week, or they've put something out controversial, or the post you did for the new year.
Yeah.
Again, you got loads of interaction with that, which is brilliant. So actually, how can you use that as an example and then put that into a post maybe every week?
Yeah.
Again, and it can't, we talk about ChatGPT a lot on here. What a tool.
Yeah.
It's incredible tool.
Absolutely.
Apart from just make sure it's in UK English rather than the editors and the Z. But again, you could summarize your week, put it into a post. Again, make sure the BS is in there because that's your branding.
Yeah.
Really get that out there. So I would start looking at those types of comments.
Yeah.
Posts. Now, in terms of the poll, so when we looked at your application form, we asked what was your sort of most successful type of content, and you said polls.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think people like to express their opinions on stuff. And I think that's ultimately, I mean, I like to. If I see a poll, I'll have a click. It's easy, isn't it? I wonder what other people think about that as well, And even on the content that I see when I'm scrolling, that's the ones that I usually stop and, I prefer coffee over tea, X, Y, Z. It's just something basic like that. But I think people like to interact in a way that isn't having to sometimes write a comment. As you say, it could be as simple as, I disagree with that, I'll put no. And that's the way we kind of find it. And that's the most people interact with them when they're voting for something, because the British people are argumentative, let's be honest. But yeah, so it's just what we've found. I mean, we any videos that we've ever posted, I think that was before my time, they didn't really get a lot. But we've noticed that if it's not a poll on mine, on anyone's, to be fair, it's the same people liking them, and it's usually because they're either clients or friends. The Mind post yesterday, that comes to mind, that was the same people liking it. 3 of them worked for the company and me, and then obviously we had a couple of friends do it as well. And that's something that we wanted to shout about because, it's important to have a charity partner and give back, especially something that we all believed in the office. But yeah, people just like interacting with polls. I do as well. I'm a sucker for a poll.
So I would, and I agree. I do a poll every week, and I get, some weeks are good, some weeks are bad. But when I get a good week, it's, I get hundreds of people, telling me what they want.
Yeah.
I think for what you could do, and I think, because time's always of the essence.
Yeah.
Whoever I get on here, we don't have huge social media teams, okay?
Yeah.
We just don't have it. So we've got to be very conscious of our time. But we also want to extract the value that we can from LinkedIn or all these other social channels.
Yeah.
So I think you could post twice a week, and I think you could do a poll.
Yeah.
And because your branding is very, using the word bullshit, which is great, I think you could do polls of things like, we were discussing about which one have you not heard excuse for a candidate not turning up. My nan's died, my dog's ill, or my car's broken down.
Yeah.
And the mad thing is, everyone, hiring managers, are all gonna understand and have a relevance to that. I think when I look at some of your posts in the past, is that we're not talking to our audience.
Yeah.
And this isn't just this is a natural issue with LinkedIn and just posting, which is a lot of people talk about ourselves, which is fine, but we've got to make sure that we're giving value as well.
Absolutely.
So we've got to talk to our audience, and I think this isn't like, so this isn't just a you issue. This is an everyone issue.
Yeah.
Even some of the stuff Michael and I do, we have to sometimes go, have I written that right?
Yeah.
So I think doing those funny polls, you'll then see your follower count grow.
Yeah.
So in the last year, I've grown my followers to 2,000 to over 10.
Yeah.
Just from doing things like polls.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take much time. It's really simple. So I think you should do one of those a week. And I also think if you look at the post that did really well in the new year, I think you should do one of those type of posts every week.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. It won't take you long.
Yeah, cool. I think that one. The reason why that one did well in my head is it was just honest and passionate, and it caught me on a bad day. I remember I was scrolling, and I had a good friend of mine who works for a different recruitment firm telling me about something, and I was just my eyes have never rolled as much in my head, and there were a couple of people who commented, as you saw. Some of them were friends who own other agencies who were like, "Hold on, I've got a wheel. Was this directed at me?" And I went, "A little bit, yeah." And that's kind of where it come from. I've worked for several agencies in different capacities, from being a trainee where I didn't really have an input and thinking, "Oh, this is normal," to then going, I can't be bothered to play Wheel of Fortune once a week. Do you know? You know what I mean? I can't be. It doesn't look good on LinkedIn. It doesn't. Someone spinning a wheel, to me, it just looks cringe now. And there's a lot of things the way that does it. It's let's celebrate success. Let's do a massive event for no reason other than to show that we've got loads of money. And it's stuff like that. And I remember I was sitting there, and it was getting to the new year, and I was scrolling, and I was seeing them left, right, and centre, and I was like, right, LinkedIn's going to become Facebook for a second, But that goes on to the point you said at the beginning, which is about that cringy content. Yeah.
It's not cringe, like, it's reality.
Yeah.
Like, I did one, I was in the gym just between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
And what annoys me about LinkedIn is that, and this is LinkedIn's issue, not people, is that LinkedIn promote content, which in my eyes is nonsense.
Yeah.
About like entrepreneurial and I've done it, and they've done all.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating, but it's amazing because for every one person doing that, there's another 4 people that aren't doing it who are 20 times more successful than they are.
Absolutely.
Yet people are like loving it and they're engaging with it. But that's LinkedIn. That's not our issue. Fair play to them. I commend it because they're getting what they want from it.
Yeah.
When you then do value type posts, they don't go as far.
Yeah.
And that's the concern that I've got with the platform. But whether we like it or not, it works. So I did that post in the new year, going, finger up in the gym, going, it's a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is, and this is why I love LinkedIn and all these social platforms, is that even though you might not, you'll just have a quick look, see how many impressions you got in the first hour or two. What's amazing is that as long as you're consistent and the content's good and it's relevant, it will push it out. So like I did that post before Christmas, I had a massive spike over the last 2 days.
Oh, okay.
So it hit like 1,000 impressions and suddenly it hit, I can't remember what it was. I can't see you. Yeah, you won't be able to. So yeah, that was just in the gym.
He's pretending to be in the gym at the minute. You can tell. Look.
Basically, basically. I only went in for that and then I left.
Yeah, he went to Mackey's straight after that.
But but then I've got a spike.
Yeah,
that will be on the platform forever.
Yeah,
and as long as it's engaging to someone at that time, the algorithm will feed it that.
Yeah.
So even though you don't see that instantaneous what's the word I'm looking for?
Gravitas.
Gratification. There you go.
There we go.
You might get it in 4 months' time.
Yeah.
You might get it in 5 months' time.
Yeah.
But also what is interesting is the amount of lurkers you get. So something else you mentioned, which is how do we define success on social?
Yeah.
And a lot of it is engagement, a lot of it is likes, views, all that stuff. There's two metrics that I think we should all measure. You don't do a lot of video content.
No.
I think you could bring that in, even if it's just with your phone. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
I do it. It is a bit cringe, and I'll be really honest. Your mates cane you for it, right? My mates. If I know when something's gone on and it's a bit controversial because my WhatsApp starts kicking off.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'll just.
Yeah.
But if it's video, how long people are viewing that video for. So have you had 5 hours watched, 6 hours watched? And the reason why is that if you put a short 10-second video out and 6 hours of viewership is there, how powerful is that?
Yeah.
6 hours. People around the world have been watching me for 6 hours talking about, in my case, social media or something.
Yeah.
Imagine if you did that and you had 6 hours of people you talking about issues with CVs for logistical hires.
Yeah.
Again, private example. So it's really, really powerful. The second one is lead generation.
Yeah.
How many leads are we actually generating from social?
Yeah.
Lead gen in terms of people filling in a form or they're calling the office, but also when you're having conversations with people and they say, oh, I saw that LinkedIn post you did.
Yeah.
Or I saw you online.
Yeah.
I class that as a lead because what it means is it's done right. It means that they've seen your post and they've engaged with it.
Yeah.
Not engaged in terms of maybe liked it or commented, but they've engaged enough to go, I remember it.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that no one can see.
Yeah.
And that's how I think when I see LinkedIn, I'll go to events and somebody will go, oh, I saw your LinkedIn post. They've never engaged with
Yeah.
and I would never have known. Yet there's the lurks in the background, and there's tons of them because a lot of people don't actually like to engage on LinkedIn.
Yeah, of course.
Or they don't have the time.
Yeah.
So actually, they're the metrics, the two that I like to really try to measure. And obviously, if people are just naturally in the conversation saying it, you can't note it down every time. Of course, you can't, but you know.
But you know it's working. Yeah,
100% you know. And the problem is, then you start having to think about, okay, how do I attribute value towards social? And again, in my case, and I think everyone should be doing this, which is you need a social presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes you can't directly measure how successful it is.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
I mean, I think it's massive, especially this year now, because look, I've been doing it years. Cold calling is dying. It is dying.
I love it.
I love it as well. You know what the thing is? Cold calling, there's nothing better than going, that was amazing. And then you get that rush, the fizz. That's what I used to call it. You know that, yeah. Look, he's a man with the fizz.
Love it. I still do it now.
What, still can't? Yeah. Oh, mate, I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh. I absolutely love it.
The issue is the amount of, especially, let's talk HR directors, stuff like that. Oh my God, you get some excuses. Oh, I'm just in a meeting. Why have you answered the phone?
Oh yeah, I have clients do that to me now. And I ask James, I'm in a meeting, mate.
What are you answering the phone for?
I literally reply going, but you've answered the phone. So either bullshit me or and then I'm like, just call me back.
Exactly. There's obviously we're going years ago. When I first started in recruitment, it was 30 sales calls 10 till 2, and then 40 sales calls 2 till 4. Oh my God, it was horrible. It was good.
That's amazing.
I love chatting to people. Do you know what I mean? But those HR directors, they're never going to take your phone call. But what they will take is if they You know what? I'd love nothing more than to go on LinkedIn on a Monday morning and go, I've had a message. Who's that from? Never heard of you, but you want business. You know, that's what the goal is, and that's why I've started particularly paying a little bit more attention to my LinkedIn. I don't know. This time last year, I didn't really have one. Again, it was that I don't see the value. I'm not quite there yet, but obviously as my role's changed and I've started growing and understanding the wider range, it's not just making a sales call and hitting your target. It's now personal brand. You are going to get business. You know, you scroll down and you see all the LinkedIn influencers, and there's quotation marks in there for a reason. You know, but
you're investing in this and this. And again, I've seen the value in it. You know, it takes a long time. It's not a quick win, but if you keep banging the same drum, very few people are consistent.
Yeah.
Mike and I, at the end of this year, did a review of one of our. So we've got 3 different podcasts.
Yeah.
This is a new one.
Yeah.
One of them is called The Fake Marketer. We talk every Wednesday. Me, Michael, and Nick sit upstairs in the evenings, and we just talk about what's relevant in marketing right now.
Yeah.
Now, from the outside in, we get call listens, okay, but we generate about $2,500 a month revenue from it. So from the outside, you'd go awful.
Yeah.
If you look at behind the scenes, you go, wow, okay, that's doing all right.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
And again, it's the same with things like LinkedIn, is that you will not see things instantaneous. No one does. But it's that investing. It's that every single week, doing 2 posts, doing a poll, and there might be 1 week where you don't get any views or any votes. Sorry, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You've just got to be consistent, and it does get. There are some times where you go, "Is this worth it?" People are seeing it. Even if 100 people have seen it, there's 100 people. LinkedIn have gone. These 100 people are going to be engaged with that content. Yeah. It's powerful if you think about it.
Definitely.
And that's why it's the consistent. And there are going to be some weeks and days where you're like, but just go ahead. And also bulk batch. Get ahead by a few weeks. We do this a lot, don't we, with our content. Is get loads. Like this episode now. This won't be released for a couple of weeks. A few weeks. So we'll just start getting ahead. But you can with some of your posts. But again, use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is huge. Yeah. I would use chat and I would create a prompt for yourself, which is using this as an example. This is now what I've done this week. This is some of the good, the bad, the ugly that I've done this week. I would want you to create a new LinkedIn post in UK English in the same tonality, and I want you to copy it. Yeah. And it would create you a obviously you might have to change slightly. Yeah. That's going to take 2 seconds. Yeah. Opposed to having to sit and think about a new post. Yeah. You're flying. And then you're going to be that guy that they know every Friday at 10 o'clock writes some post about how shit his week's been. Another week in recruitment, guys. Welcome. But again, try and bring out the personality. Because people are going to invest in you. Like I said, Samantha and Amanda, the 2 recruiters I used to use, I wasn't buying into the business. I was buying into the person that's going to sit down with me and go, James, I understand who you need. I'm going to go out and search them. They could be under any umbrella. It wouldn't have mattered to me. What it matters is that they get the right candidate for me. Of course, and then when things fuck up, it's just it just happens. Or they don't turn up because they're dog style or some nonsense.
Oh, yeah. There's honestly, I think I could probably fill you about 5 pages of excuses that I've heard over the years.
There's a lot. The one last thing on LinkedIn, is commenting on other people's posts. Very, very powerful. I've just started doing this. So one of my VAs, she spends 20 minutes a day commenting on my ICP, so my ideal candidates' posts, and it's more powerful than you think. Okay. So even if you could do it for once a week for 10 minutes, or just as you LinkedIn, someone's got a new job, well done, mate. Don't just like it, well done, mate. It's great news. Or someone's, whatever it may be. Yeah. Just, one of your clients has done a walk for Mind, or whatever it may be. Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. What a good cause. Very quick. Yeah. You'd be shocked at how quickly you're going to be then seen by other people. Yeah. Because the people that have engaged with that will then see you've commented. Very, very powerful. So again, if LinkedIn is your method to win business and lead generation, start doing that as well. It'll make a massive difference. Again, it's time, so I always recommend is just do 10 minutes a week.
I'll be doom scrolling. I'll doom scrolling on LinkedIn anyway. It's fine.
Well, there you go. Just add
sit
it
in
to
my
that.
bed, just scrolling.
Just add it to that. Quick type. 4 or 5 words onto the next one makes a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely.
It plays into the algorithm a lot more, and then you're going to be seen in a much better light.
Yeah, of course.
In terms of LinkedIn, I think that's pretty much it. You can get some bots that will reach out to your ICPs in terms of emails. I would recommend a few of those.
Yeah.
Hot Dog is one, and I'll send you another few. You have to have LinkedIn Premium, and then what it'll do is it'll pull in a list, and you can send out 10 emails a day. They're very good. I will actually send you a few examples of some very outlandish opening lines.
Yeah.
You read them and go, they're amazing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, what did you have for dinner last night?
yeah. Okay.
Oh, and also, I'm in recruitment.
I'm in recruitment. Yeah.
The mad thing is, and this is where people fail in marketing, is that they're so precious about their brand.
Yeah.
All you're trying to do is open a door.
Yeah.
Marketing is opening a door, and then let's get the professionals in to sell it, right?
Yeah.
That's all we're trying to do. So again, if you're going to open the door of some bizarre question, which they're like, because they're going to get millions of LinkedIn messages. Like, I get so many. I daren't even look at them. Beauty does it for me. But some of the lines I see in there are fantastic, and I'm like, fair play. But then I actually look at the email quickly and go, fair enough. I'll give them their due. So you could look at bringing that in as well.
Yeah.
And that could be from you and the MD as well. You could both do it.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more powerful coming from both of you, again, opposed to the actual company page.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, in terms of LinkedIn, I think that's pretty much now. But again, what Michael will do is Michael's typing all this down on your crib sheet, and then when you leave, you can tell Michael will give you access and you can take away. I think there's also some examples of some other brands on there where we think that could be worth having a quick look at their content potentially, and if you wanted to, could we emulate that? But it'll give you a bit of an example.
Yeah.
Right, now we're going on to TikTok.
Okay.
Right, Ben.
Yep.
Can I be really honest?
Yes, you can.
I didn't know if this was a piss take.
I agree.
Honestly.
I agree. Yeah.
I saw this and went, is he on the jolly here? Has he had 10 beers?
I reckon I probably did it for some of them. I'm not going to take full credit for this because the MD still used to do this, and I've gone, no, we can't do it anymore.
Okay, so TikTok.
Yep.
Okay, is a video platform, right?
Yep.
It's all about engaging. We've seen the meteoric rise of TikTok.
Yep.
It's an amazing platform. You lot have broken it. You've broken TikTok, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, the UK getting rid of it now because of you lot. It's totally gone. Don't click on this just yet, Michael, right? This post that you did, which I'm shocked got nearly 2,000 impressions.
He's going to be well happy with that as well. That's the worst thing,
is the worst thing I've ever seen. Right? But do you know what? It's that bad. I think there's a play here. Which me and Michael actually said, didn't we? That if this was
doing it like ironic.
If you were doing this ironically, this could work really well.
Yeah.
It was can you know the one I'm talking about, Michael? Yeah, click on that bad boy. So this, it's like a 90s Ring of Fire.
Can I be honest? I've never seen that one.
I've never seen anything like it.
I want to know what he's used to edit it, to be fair.
So if you put an image in, it gives you some effects you can to make it because it's not a video.
Have you never seen a poster with lightning and fire on before? Is that what you're trying to tell? It's got sparkles at the end as well.
I was flabbergasted. So yeah, your TikTok is interesting.
Yeah.
If you click on this post here, Michael, that one there, click on that one. It's not full screen.
Yeah.
It's utter nonsense.
Yeah. I think that's valid.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. So
I've never seen some of these. I've seen the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Again, that wasn't my lovely editing skills. I promise. That's been made on Windows Movie Maker. That has. And there's some very, very strange overlays. I don't look good in that kind of filter.
I don't even know what to say. Like,
When you just put an image in, it goes, "Oh, do you want to put some cool
Do you
stuff
know?
on it?" It's like,
You know when you're in year 10 and you have an ICT thing and you have to make that really flash PowerPoint presentation with pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
It does look like I'm sure that I've made one of those when I was 14, 15.
yeah, I'm not too sure about that. So I would say your whole TikTok needs a bit of a revamp.
Yeah.
But before you revamp it, I think what you need to do is, and again, it's a bit of a bit of a reality of why we're using TikTok.
Yeah.
It might be you don't need one.
Yeah.
Like, it might just be like, we all do it, right? We all see a new social platform, want to jump on it. But as I said, like with Gordon, there's some, with Gordon was on earlier this week, I said, just focus on this one platform. Don't focus on the others. Remove Facebook just because what he's going to be doing is repurposing content so he can just do it across all. So it's easier for him.
Yeah, of course.
The problem with what the type of content you're doing on LinkedIn, you can't replicate that on TikTok.
Yeah.
You can't replicate that across YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels. So my question to you is, why are we using TikTok? What's the objective of TikTok?
Look, cards on the table. I disagreed with the TikTok idea. I did. Okay. And that's because I don't like TikTok anyway. Okay,
it's amazing.
My wife is the same.
Like the biggest TikTok.
My wife will sit there and send me stuff at 3 a.m. while I'm laying next to her and go, "What's that?" I was like, "I don't have TikTok. I can't. It tries to make you download it now. Just download it." No, I am not downloading TikTok for the sole purpose to doom scroll. Instagram Reels, different story. They're not the same.
Instagram Reels is just people posting on TikTok.
No.
There we go.
Come on.
Oi.
Hold on a second. Don't put me in that box. But I think the MD Michael, and I will mention him by name. He loves TikTok because he's got a personal TikTok for his Twitch streaming stuff that he does. He streams Fortnite.
Okay.
50-year-old man.
Fair play.
Exactly. Oh, you know what? To be fair, he does quite well.
Fair play.
And he streams on TikTok, but his content is the same as that. But I don't know if he does that on purpose or if he does it as a joke. But he saw a lot of agencies recently go on TikTok, and a lot of them do get a decent number of views, likes, etc. My question was, what's the objective? What are we getting out of it?
Well, even if you get loads of views, like we've got a couple of TikTok channels, and we get a fair, pretty average across 900 to 1,000 on most posts, right?
Yeah.
So it's not huge. Okay, it's really small numbers.
Yeah.
Where I see it work for us is because my phone number is attached to all the accounts.
Yeah.
And because I've had the same number from 15 years, every single client I've annoyed for the last 15 years has my phone number.
Yeah.
They then go on TikTok and they start seeing that content.
Okay.
Like, everyone I see says, "I can't get away from you. You're everywhere on TikTok," which is great. So there's a benefit to that.
Yeah.
The problem I've got with yours is that I think I know what's gone on. Michael's created it, like we all done, and businesses have done this up and down the country and overseas.
Yeah.
And then you've posted a couple of stuff, which looks like that. And then we go, what's the point of that?
Maybe it's just a mega mind prey. Like maybe he's doing it as a joke. But
So my question would be, I think, and this is more of a serious one, which is, do you need it, or is it what's it there for? If it's to attract candidates, maybe.
Yeah.
But if it's there to get, again, the HR director of DPD, they ain't gonna. Well, let's be honest. If they see any of this stuff, you're going to be off their roster pretty sharpish.
Yeah. Well, they might find it funny. But again, these are the questions I was asking as well. I
suppose you were talking about polls, and you said how on LinkedIn people like to engage with polls. Is there a way you can do that sort of content on like TikTok? Like,
no.
Here's some of the.
As long as we can have that fire and lightning attached to the poll, I think that would work.
You could do a play, which is like we are the most advanced recruitment firm in the world, and then produce that, which would be ironic.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on LinkedIn, I don't know if you follow him, called James Clutterbuck.
Yes.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The guy is an absolute genius, and I love how he's done it. The ironic posts he does, the engage, like he's nailed the white man. I don't want to speak to white men who have got money. I love it. Okay? I absolutely love it. He's actually a really good guy as well. I've spoken to him a few times. Really good guy. And it's not him that does it; it's his team. I love it even more. Right. So there could be a play like that with this. The problem I've got is that I know how long TikTok takes.
Yeah.
TikTok is not a platform where it's going to take you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So Michael, like for example, this podcast will be on there. it will be put for a big AI platform. Michael will strip out all the edits. He'll then edit them all. It will take him 2 or 3 days to edit the entire lot.
Yeah.
And then you've got 10 posts.
Oh, yeah, well, make sure you get the part where I say I hate TikTok specifically as well. That might do well.
So I think, like, I see what's been done.
Yeah.
But I would be very cautious of having this live.
Yeah, and look, that's why I don't promote it anywhere. The good news is it's not on our website. This was, I think, last month. I was like, why do we have one? And he was like, oh, we're having one. I was like, yeah, but why? What's the goal, you know? We've got a goal for LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. We've got a goal for Facebook. A lot of candidates are on Facebook. They just are, because a lot of them don't know how to use job boards. It's just a fact. Whereas, are we getting anything from TikTok apart from satisfaction of using Windows Movie Maker again, you know? And again, it's still playing and I'm still seeing it. It's starting to give me a headache.
You know, what you could do, you could do, like, again, a pace to camera if you're going to do those one a week.
Yeah.
You could put them on here. They would do really well. You know, the journey of a no bullshit recruitment firm. You know, that's engaging.
Definitely.
This is not.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Yeah. You know, even if, because the problem is, regardless if a candidate or a client saw this, like, they're not going to, I wouldn't go, these are the guys to get me a job. They're also not the person to get me a candidate.
Yeah.
So I think potentially there's some, well, I won't use the word crisis management because that's well overboard.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of reputational damage, I think this isn't great.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you look a bit out of date, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes it look like an old man is trying to get on TikTok and be relevant.
Yeah.
And I agree. I totally agree with you. And that, again, that's very much where, look, I'll put my hands up on the table now. I don't know how to make engaging stuff on TikTok. I don't. Maybe it would work if I put on a video once a week of me just saying,
that would work.
Isn't this bullshit again? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, time's money. There's not a lot of us. So the money, the time's even more valuable because one person spends 2 hours doing something. It needs to have an end goal. It needs to have a value. We're spending that money for that person. Might not seem like a lot of money. It might be 30 quid for those 2 hours, but 30 quid's 30 quid, especially when there's only 4 of you. You know?
It's a lot of money. And this is where most brands, and this is why I get my knickers in a twist when, it's only TikTok or it's only LinkedIn. No. These take time.
Yeah.
Time is money.
Definitely.
Like, that's the reality. And again, when I saw this, obviously, I found it funny.
I do wish I wish I was a fly on the wall when you first opened it.
Genuinely,
were you there as well by any chance?
I don't think I was with you.
I thought,
messaged me and you were like, have you seen it?
I wish I could see the WhatsApp. You're going to have to show me.
I was just like, what is this? I thought it was the wrong one. I was like,
is he linked as the wrong one, or is he just winding us up?
So I would look at this, and I would consider it, unless you're going to change it completely. I would seriously consider just deleting this account personally. I wouldn't want a candidate or a client seeing this. Personally.
I think there's a few clients that I've had for years. Again, we talked about it earlier. You know, they follow you here, there, and everywhere. That if they saw that, I don't think I'd ever live it down. And I think it would cost me a good bottle of drink to get them to take me seriously again. But again, it's been a while since I saw this TikTok. The last one that I saw was the Halloween one, which is even worse. Don't get me started on it. He's got a thing with green and red. There it is. Oh, the transitions are there again.
It's like, I get it. The problem is, I understand it.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's flocking on TikTok. You know, B2B brands are doing it. Some doing it really successfully. The ones that are doing it successfully, the ones that understand what TikTok is there for, and it's to engage and for people to a lot of it's comical or it's educational. Obviously, TikTok lives are flying at the moment, as you've probably seen. You know, there's no reason why you can have a TikTok live just in the office about a recruitment firm. You know, there's no reason why that would work. That would work, but this won't. And again, if clients or and candidates saw this, I don't think if I was a candidate, I'd pick you guys if this was only the only time I'd see them. And vice versa, if there was a HR director or a recruitment manager and they saw this, I personally don't think they would go, these are the guys for me.
No,
and
I
that's
agree.
not being
Totally agree.
So I think there's potentially some brand reputational damage if people saw this. Look, it's up, and every business has got an old social account somewhere. I would just be a little bit. What's funny is whoever has created this account every number on his phone will see this. So just want to make that clear.
I just want to say it. So it's the MD who's created this account, yeah, and I promise you he's got about 3,000 numbers on his phone. But again, it's linked to 2, so he's got a TikTok as well, and he loves it. He does all right. Don't get me wrong. Like, he streams and everything.
Yeah, which is class, but this is a different business.
Exactly.
And this isn't right.
Exactly. This isn't him being. He likes to call himself Shabba Stevo.
Okay.
That's his brand.
Shabba.
There we go. You got it. Literally what. And it's all the same kind of content, but he's doing it because it fits with him, if that makes sense. It fits with that persona.
Yeah, which is fine.
But he's got a different persona when he's Michael Stevenson.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the way it works. And that's the point that I'll be telling him when I get back to the office later.
Yeah. Okay.
There he's found him.
Well, I've sort of gone through all the questions. I think the last sort of question I've got is, last 2, which is, what's the first change you're going to make after here? Minus TikTok.
I'm going to go and make us all banners.
Yeah.
So all the same banners. I think that's quite important. I think I'm going to take some of the stuff that you told me as well, and I think I need everyone in the company, not just me and the MD, to start engaging on LinkedIn a little bit more. Branch administrator, she's only just made it because I was like, you need a LinkedIn, it's recruitment, you need a LinkedIn, you know. But then it's also working out what their personal brands are. Obviously, I've kind of got mine, but I need to start putting that post out. Maybe it is every Friday. I just start going off about someone called in sick today because he hurt his foot. By the way, I did have someone call in sick for an ingrown hair.
There you go. That's the first one.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
That's your first one. Literally, there you go. That's
People
the
can
first one.
relate to that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's that relatable stuff and that content and yeah, but yeah, no, the banners are really important. So I'm glad you said that.
Definitely.
That was, because again, that's, if you can do that across the business, again, continuity is really going to help. And
I will be sorting out that TikTok. I hope you 2 are one of those 49 followers, though.
Can we follow it on the fake marker?
Look, I'll go and I'll sit down and I'll have an honest conversation about the TikTok of what do you want to achieve. These are the options. We either get rid of it or we delete all those videos that are on there and we start again with a different thing that we want to do and that works. That might be me or him or someone in the branch just having a 10-second video going, this bullshit happened again today.
Yeah,
X, Y, Z.
Just got to remember, there's different platforms. Like you said, Reels are different to TikTok.
Yeah.
People go there for a different experience.
Definitely.
And this is why, again, a lot of marketing fails. Because they go in with a preconceived idea of what we want people to see. It's not what they want to see. And that's what you've got to be very careful with. And again, this is unfortunately a really good example of that.
Yeah,
and it happens, again, all over the world. This isn't just Gemini. People, this is everybody. I've got some of the biggest brands I dealt with had that issue. They had real issues with it, and it was really frustrating. Because social media really should have its own tonality. It should have its own brand guidelines. People like Ryanair do it really well. Look at how Ryanair, used their socials to promote Ryanair.
Yeah.
They're literally caning themselves being the worst airline in the world.
Yeah.
Yet when you speak to their customer service team, you'll have a very different tone than you would on social, which is why, again, with your LinkedIn, again, your tone is your tone.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's going to be where you make your
I think the reason why I wanted the company page to do it as well originally is the fact that I don't know, I follow them because I bank with them anyway. Onzo Bank are incredible on LinkedIn. Oh my God, they are though.
But they're a faceless brand.
Yeah.
And this is, I was having this conversation the other day, weren't we, about Nike and TikTok Live is flying. But Nike can't do a TikTok Live because there's no personality there. They're a faceless brand.
Yeah.
So I was mentioning this guy in America that who now sells sneakers. He sees the fake ones and he's got really big. He now does lives and he's flogging all Nike stuff. He's now flogging some of his own stuff that he's created and he's literally like he's creaming it.
Yeah.
Nike could never do that.
Yeah.
Because they're Nike. They just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Whereas these smaller brands are competing now because they've got access to everyone via essentially QVC, but on your phone, which you can make a purchase in about 4 seconds.
Oh, drop shipping's massive.
It's just huge. So, but no, I think that's. Well, thank you for coming in, Ben.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good. I hope I wasn't too.
I'll be honest. You've been quite restrained after I saw that. I'm gonna go and show that to my wife and try and get her to delete TikTok in general, though. But no, I mean, I don't genuinely don't think I've seen those video effects on that TikTok for about 10 years. And I'm not that old.
No.
So it tells you what you need to know.
Well, look, thank you very much for coming on for in the comments. And yeah, we'll send the crib sheet after. And good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Top man.